Good morning, girls. Hope all of you and your families are safe and well. So, today we will start off with the first chapter, which is Nature and Purpose of Business. The topic of the day is Characteristics of Business. Now, I said that the topic that we will be doing today is called Characteristics of Business. You must remember one thing, that characteristics and features are the same thing. So, if they ask you what are the features of business, it's nothing but the characteristics which we will be studying today. So, let's read up what they have written on the slide. Human life is busy with work. Work is an essential part of life. The aim of every human activity is directed towards satisfying a particular need or needs. Thus, people choose different occupations to earn their livelihood. The necessity of supply of goods and services had led some people to engage in production and sales. Okay, so what is it they are saying in this paragraph? They are saying that all of us have some needs and wants. Needs and wants for things which can satisfy us. So, for example, we need food to satisfy hunger, we need water to satisfy our thirst, we need other products for other reasons. So, what happened is these needs and wants drove people to start producing various goods and services. In the next paragraph, they say business is a major economic activity concerned with the production and sale of goods and services required by people. So, there you have the meaning of business. They are saying that business is an economic activity. Here, economic activity means an activity which is done in order to earn some money. Okay, it is not done for any charity purpose or any other purpose, but it is done in order to earn some money. So that's why they are saying business is a major economic activity. And what is it concerned with? It is concerned with the production and sale of goods and services required by people. So it deals with making and selling goods or products and providing services. Now, services could be the service of a doctor, a lawyer. We will see that a little later, okay? On the next slide, we will see the meaning of goods and services. But what is business? Business means providing people with goods and services, and for what? To satisfy their needs. Also, business is an economic activity. That means business is done in order to earn some money. The next sentence says the purpose of business is to earn money by satisfying people's demand for goods and services. That's what I just told you earlier. The purpose, that is why businesses are being done, they are being done with the intention of earning money by satisfying the needs of people. And how? By providing the various goods and services required by the people. Now, on this slide, we are going to look at what goods and services mean. Now, another word for goods is products. So, any kind of product comes under goods. Now, in a picture, we can see clothes are there, then there are groceries, other gadgets. All these things come under products. Now, look at the next part, which is services. Under services, we can see banking services. So there's one person sitting in the bank and he is looking after the needs of the people in terms of money and all that. So that is banking services. Then there's a carpenter. He's providing his service. And then there's a teacher. She's teaching and providing her service. So all these things come under services. Even the service provided by a doctor or a lawyer an engineer, a chartered accountant. All these also come under services. Now I have a small exercise for you to do. Look at these pictures and you try and tell me which of these come under goods and which come under services. Take a moment and just look at it, and then we will go through it together. Okay, let's do it together. The first one is a service, because that a person is a waitress and she is providing food to some people, so that's a service. The second picture is a book, so that's a product. Third is a TV, so product or goods. The next one is a teddy bear, again it comes under goods. Then the next person looks like a postman, so he's providing some kind of service to us, so that's service. And then the school bus is being driven by one person, so again transportation, which comes under service. Next, business may be defined as a human activity directed towards producing or acquiring wealth through the buying and selling of goods. L.H. Haney. So this person has defined business. Later on, when we do the questions, there is a question which says define business. Now when they say define business, you will have to quote the words of the person or someone, has been given to you. Now in this case it's L.H. Haney. So you will quote his words if they say define a business. Then let's read on. It says activities which are undertaken not with the economic object but with love, sympathy, sentiments, patriotism are called as non-economic activities. Now, do you remember in the first slide, we saw that it said business is an economic activity. And when we talked about economic activity, I told you that these economic activities are activities that are done with the intention of earning some money. Now, just the opposite of that is non-economic activity. So, what does that mean? That means non-economic activities are those which are done with absolutely no intention to earn money. They are done out of love, sympathy, sentiments, patriotism. Okay, let's look at the examples. Example, housewife cooking for the family, visit to the temple for prayers, social activities to assist the poor. So here they are saying all these come under non-economic activities, like a mother cooking food for the children. She is not going to charge any money for that, but she is doing it out of love. Same way, social activities to help the poor, again coming under charity. We are not helping the poor with the intention of earning some money. No, we are helping them because we feel sympathy for them, and that's why we are helping them. Now all these come under non-economic activities. Next, characteristics of business. So earlier we learned the meaning of business. Now we are going on to the characteristics or the features of business. All business concerns, irrespective of their size, nature, or ownership, have the following essential features. So the first one is an economic activity. So that we already saw in the meaning of business. Over there we saw that business is an economic activity. The same thing is coming here as the first point. But let's read up what they have written on the slide. Business is carried on with the objective of earning income or profit. It is concerned with production, purchase, sale or distribution of goods and services with an aim of earning profit. Therefore, it is considered as an economic activity. So what are they saying? Business is always done with the aim of earning some money. Now let's stop using the word money and let's start using the word profit. So why does a person do business? A person does business in order to earn some profit. That's why it's called an economic activity. Now the second point says, production and procurement of goods and services. Production here means to make, to produce, or to make or manufacture. Procurement means to buy it and then sell it, to get it from somewhere else and sell it. So, in procurement, there is no making involved. We are just buying the ready made product from someone and selling it to other people. That's the meaning of procurement. So, let's see what they have written. Before goods are offered to people for consumption, these must either be produced or procured by the business enterprise. Thus, every business enterprise either manufactures the goods or it acquires them from producers further to be sold to the customers. So, they are saying the second characteristic of a business is that either it should make the goods and sell it to the customers, or it can buy the goods from somebody else and then sell it to the customers. Both ways a business can use. Either it makes its own product and sells it, or it can buy a ready made product from someone and sell it to the customers. For example, if I have a business of making pickles, so that what I will do is I will make the pickle in my house and I will sell it to the customers. Okay. Now, on the other hand, I have a stationery shop. Now, I can't make those stationery items. So, what I will do is I will go to the market and buy it in bulk and then sell it to the customers in my from my shop. I will bring all those products from the market, keep it in my shop, and I will sell it to the customers. In this case, I am not making the stationery items. I am only buying them from someone else, procuring them from someone else, and selling it to the customers. But in the case of my pickle business, I was making it in my house and then selling it to the customers. So they are saying the second feature of business is that either you can make the product and sell it, or you can buy a ready made product from somebody else and sell it to the customers. Third one is sale or exchange of goods and services. All business activities involve production, purchase, sale, and transfer of goods and services for some consideration between the seller and the buyer. So they are saying the third characteristic of a business is that there should be some sale or exchange of goods and services happening. So here one person has to be the buyer and the other person has to be the seller, and the product has to be exchanged between them for some consideration. Consideration here means money. So suppose I am the buyer, or I'll be the seller, you be the buyer. I am selling a product to you for which you are giving me money in return. So there should be some kind of exchange. I am exchanging the product with you for some money that you are going to give me. Only then can it be called as a business. If I just give you the product free and you're not paying me anything for it, then that is not a business. Maybe I'm just giving it to you because you're my friend or something. But the moment I give it to you and you pay money for it, then it is called a business. Next, dealing in goods and services on a regular basis. Business activities consist of manufacturing, buying and selling of goods, and rendering services on a continuous and regular basis. One single transaction does not constitute a business. Example, if a person sells his old cycle, even at a profit, it is not a business. But if he sells cycles frequently, either through his shop or from his residence, it will be called as a business. Now, the fourth point says that in order for it to be called as a business, it has to be done on a regular basis. Now, they've given us a very good example where they are saying that if a person sold his old cycle, maybe he wants to buy a new cycle, or maybe he wants to buy a bike. So, he's selling the cycle off. And It seems he sold the cycle at a profit. But still, this is not called as a business. Do you know why? Because he is not doing this on a regular basis. It's just that one cycle that he had, and he wanted to sell it off because he wanted to buy a, a bike. And so he did it just once. Because of that, it cannot be called as a business. But now imagine he has a cycle shop. He has many cycles over there and he keeps selling it because that is his job. He's making money by selling those cycles on a regular basis. That's a continuously he is doing it. Then it is called as a business. So if you just sell something once, you can't call it a business. If you keep on selling that particular product from a shop or even from your house, maybe you have a big a room in which you're keeping all the products and you're selling the products from your house, but you're doing it on a regular basis, then it is called as a business. Profit motive. The profit motive is an important feature of a business. It must earn profit for its survival, growth, expansion, research, and development. Businessmen make all possible efforts to maximize profit by increasing the volume of sales or reducing cost. Now, for your business to be considered as a business, you should have the intention of earning a profit. If you are doing some particular activity where you're providing goods or services to someone, but you're not taking any money, you're not charging any kind of fees for it, then it cannot be considered as a business. Maybe it's just a charity kind of activity that you're doing. So if what you're doing is to be considered as a business, then profit motive should be there. That means you should be doing it with the aim of earning a profit. And why is it important for you to earn a profit? Because only then you will make enough money to survive, first of all, that is to continue your business, and secondly to grow your business, and finally to expand it. That means you want to make many more different types of products. Sixth point is element of risk. There is always uncertainty in the future of a business. It is through risk taking that a businessman earns profit. Profit of a business depends not only upon the efforts of business concern but also upon a large number of uncontrollable factors, which include change in technology, change in consumer taste and fashion, labor problems, or natural calamities and accidents, etc. So, here they are saying risk is a very important part of a business. There is absolutely no business that exists without risk. That means if you start a business, there will be some risk that you will need to face. Now, what is the meaning of risk? Risk means the happening of some unforeseen event. That means you did not know it was going to happen to you. So, risk can be of any type, like change in technology. Suddenly, technology changed. So, the old outdated machines that you had in your factory had to be replaced by new machines, and you did not know this was going to happen. So, that's a risk you are taking. Then, change in consumer taste and fashion. So, suddenly, the needs of the customers changed. Initially, if you remember, long back, girls, the jeans pants that we used to wear were kind of like loose, they were not like what you get today we have that slim fit and it's very kind of fitting. But long ago the jeans that used to be manufactured were kind of a straight cut, very like it was loose. It was not very like tight fitting, slim fit. It was not at all like that. So what happened over the years? The needs of people changed. They said we don't want those loose jeans anymore. We want slim fit, low waist, all those kind of. Their needs changed. So these manufacturers, they don't really know when the needs of people will change. So that is again a risk that they take when they manufacture a product. Labor problems, that is, workers will suddenly strike and they'll stop working for various reasons. Now, even that can't be predicted. We don't know when they will suddenly uh, create those kind of problems. So, that's a risk a business takes. Then, natural calamities, accidents, etc. Natural calamities will be like floods or earthquakes. Now, even those kind of things, we don't know when it's going to strike us. It may suddenly happen at any time. So, that's another risk that a business will have to face. So one more thing they're saying is that the reason why a business makes profit is because of the risk it takes. So this is how it usually is. If you take on a very risky business, then the profit that you would make also tends to be higher. If you take on a business that has very little risk, then usually the profits that you make also will be small. For example, if I start a jewelry shop, now in the case of a jewelry shop, it's quite a risky business, but the profits I make is quite high. On the other hand, I have one small tea shop. Okay, hardly any risk involved in that. Therefore, the profits that I make from that small tea shop of mine also is very less compared to a big jewelry shop. So that brings us to the questions. Let's go back. So we had how many characteristics? We had six characteristics. We'll just run through the headings, girls. As I read out the heading to you, just try and recall what I said to you. First one is it's an economic activity. Second, it deals with the production and procurement of goods and services. Third, sale or exchange of goods and services. Fourth, dealing in goods and services on a regular basis. Fifth, profit motive. And sixth one is element of risk. One advice I'd like to give you regarding this subject, when you start studying, always first note how many points are there under the particular topic. Because as we progress with this subject, you'll realize that every topic has a lot of points under them. So eventually, what happens is if we don't keep a track of the points, we tend to start forgetting. We won't really remember how many points each topic has. So, the first thing that you have to do as soon as you start to study a particular topic is to note down how many points are there. So, for characteristics of business, how many points are there? There are 6 points. And the best way to study the subject is also to keep revising it, girls. As I told you, there are many points under each topic. So, at some point in time, you may feel that you're getting slightly confused. That's absolutely normal, okay? Nothing to worry. The way to tackle this problem is to keep revising on and on. Now, that's how I'm planning to conduct your classes as well. Now, when I do the next chapter, we will first revise what we did in the previous class. Then only we will go on to the new topic of the day. Now, that's a habit we'll have to cultivate, okay? We always recall what we have studied previously and then only progress on to the next topic. That way, you will not be confused and you will do very well in the subject. You might even get 100 on 100 for this subject. But you have got to follow my advice, okay? Now, let's do the questions. But before we go on to the questions, this is the pattern that you will see in your question paper, girls. There will be 1 mark questions, there will be 2 mark questions, 4 mark and 8 mark questions. There's another one called the practical oriented question, which I will explain to you later. But first, we will look at the 1 mark questions. Now, since these questions only carry 1 mark, you are expected to answer with only a sentence or a word. Okay, do not go on to explain it in detail, giving 2 or 3 sentences. No, not required. No one's going to cut your marks, okay? But you're just going to waste your time because this paper is a theory paper. It is generally very lengthy, lots to write. Most often, you won't have time sometimes to finish the paper if you end up writing too much unnecessary things. So, for the 1 mark questions, limit your answer to just a word or a sentence. 2 mark questions, you will have to explain with 2 sentences. Or maybe they will say state any two. If they say state any two features, then you will just give the headings of to features. Okay, don't go to explain them, just give the headings. That is for the 2 mark question. 4 mark question, you have to write one side of the sheet. Now you know every page has 2 sides, the front side and the side behind. So you will write only one side for a 4 mark question. So you can probably start off with an introduction and then you can write the rest of the answer. But it should be only one full side of the page. Remember, it has to be one full side. If you write only half that side of the page, I can't give you 4 marks. I'll be forced to give you only 2 marks. So if you want your full 4 marks, you have got to write the full one side of the page. Same way for the 8 mark question, you will write both sides of the page. So you will start off with an introduction, go on to explain the answer, and then end with a conclusion. That's how you will answer an 8 mark question. Then there is the practical oriented question where you will only have to give the headings. It is for 5 marks. You don't have to write pages for it. You only have to write the headings. It's the easiest, okay, among the lot. You get 5 marks easily only for writing the headings. If you're not understanding about this practical oriented question, don't worry. When we come across it, I will explain it to you in detail later, okay? Now, let's go through the 1 mark questions. If you have listened carefully to the lecture, then you should be able to answer these questions, okay? But again, if you're not able to answer the questions, never mind. All you have to do is go back, check what is the answer, and try and recall it, okay? So the first question is, what is an economic activity? Now I explained that to you. Whenever you see the word economic, it means something to do with money. So an economic activity is an activity that involves money. Then you can say maybe a business is an economic activity because it is done in order to make a profit. So just one sentence of these you can tell, girls, because it's only a 1 mark question, okay? I need to see the word money over there or profit. If I see that word there, you get your marks for that answer. Then name any one type of economic activity. So they are asking you for an example. So you can say a worker working in a factory or anything, any kind of activity which is done in order to earn money. Give an example, okay? Then define business. L.H. Haney had defined it earlier in the slide. So you have to learn that by heart and write that answer here. Now, state any one characteristic of business. So you can give the first characteristics, which is it is an economic activity. How many do we have totally? Do you remember? We have 6 totally, okay? So you have to write only one and you only have to write the heading. Do not explain it. Now, for the 2 mark questions, what is business? Again, it's there on your first slide. A business is an economic activity which is done in order to earn a profit. It involves the production of goods and services. According to like that way, you can write your answer. Then, state any 4 features of a business. Note here, girls, they are saying state. They are not saying explain. So you will only write the headings. How many? 4 headings of the features of business. See how they have used the word features here. They didn't use the word characteristics. Don't get confused. Features and characteristics means the same thing. 4 mark question. Explain any 4 characteristics of business. Now, we have a total of 6 characteristics. But you're lucky they're asking you for only 4. So maybe you can start off your answer by writing the meaning of business and then go on to explain any 4, whichever is easy for you. Okay? And remember, I told you only one side of the page you have to write. 8-mark question. What is business? Explain the characteristics of a business. Now, we know that we have 6 characteristics of a business, which means you're going to get 6 marks for that. Balance 2 marks is going to be towards what is a business. That means you have to explain what is a business for 2 marks, and the balance 6 marks is for the characteristics. So that's how your marks are going to be allocated. I hope you understood everything that I explained today to you. Even if you did not understand, nothing to worry. What you do is, whichever part you did not understand, you send a WhatsApp message to me personally and I will explain that to you again. Okay? This thing we should adopt for all our classes, girls. Every time you get a doubt or you have a doubt, you never understood something, there's nothing to worry about it. I will explain it to you again. This is a new subject for most of you. So you will definitely find things that you're not able to understand. Okay, never mind about that. All you have to do is just WhatsApp me and I will explain that to you again. Don't keep any doubts for later. If you keep doubts for later, you will not be able to understand the topics that follow on. Okay, so as and when these doubts come up, you must clear it with me. So, in case you have any doubts, please feel free to WhatsApp me or you can even call me. Thank you and have a nice day.